Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. I think, we're all concerned with the air quality that's happening, which we have no control over. It's those currents of air are sweeping over us, and a lot of people are staying inside, which they probably should be doing. But I want to talk about something else that I think is a critical thing that you should be aware of, and it's because the reason I'm talking about it is it's hit my friends in the last week. Now, a week ago, the temperature we had some really hot days. And my buddy Rust and I were fishing in the Adirondacks, and it was 90 degrees that day. And we fished all day long. We were overdressed because we had black flies all around us. Rust had nets over him. But as we were heading home, he told me, he said, I'm not really feeling all that great. Well, the next morning, I'm talking to my buddy Dave, who lives in a whole nother area way south of us. And on the same day, he was out fishing, and he'd fished just the morning until noon. And he started not feeling well. Well, it got worse the next day because both of them had conditions of really dire conditions where people collapse. They also felt sick all day. And in going to the doctors, it was diagnosed as dehydration. And dehydration can affect us in so many different ways. I remember a few years ago when I was doing a TV show with two of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Alejandro Villanueva and Dave DeCastro, and they came up here to fish with me. And one of the things that had come about the season before is their doctors had now, I guess, fallen into the understanding and the doctrine that that hydration was the most important thing that they could do. And Alejandro kept saying, this is our number one sort of doctrine that we fall into now is we need to be hydrated all the time. It's more important than any other part of our conditioning is to stay hydrated. And everybody's affected a little different by hydration. All our bodies are different. One of the things I notice that affects me in the summer if I go wading, and I mean, wading takes a lot. I run every day, but the wading is far more difficult on my body than the running. And what I find is in the evening, I'll start getting wicked leg cramps. Well, other people tell me that they get nauseated or they actually collapse. So I think it's a really critical thing that we be aware as the summer comes on us and we're doing stuff outdoors. I talk about fishing, and fishing is something that so many of us do, but it's really important that we stay hydrated. And that doesn't just mean drinking water. Water's great, but we need those electrolytes, and that's critical. So that's why Gatorade came to be so important for the athletes. But this is something I can't stress enough. I think it's really, really important. You may not realize you get dehydrated. You may not realize that it can affect you as well. But believe me, it can. And when you have the top athletes in the country that have the top doctors and all the money to do whatever they got to do, that tell you that the most important thing that you can do if you're going to be active outside in the heat is to stay hydrated, I think it's really critical that you take that lesson in and understand it. And I just, I want us all to enjoy the fishing that we have. And the summertime to me is some of the best time to be out there. But boy, from my two friends that both got ill the same day in different areas out fishing because they both got dehydrated. I was probably dehydrated too. It just affected me maybe a little differently. But it's one of my, I hate to preach because there's so many people out there that know a lot more than I do. But I got to tell you, this is important. Just remember it. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.